Let me do that again. Now that my mic is on. Welcome, Warriors. I am so glad that you guys are here with me today. If you're new here, my name is Fernando. I'm God's Prepared Warrior, and I am so glad that you guys have joined me today. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Um, Maybe if you guys can throw me some signal and say, Fernando, we can hear you. We can't hear you. 5x5. Awesome. Thank you, Salt Mist. Appreciate that. That truly helps out when you guys can tell me, hey, we hear you. I think it's good to talk about this first thing. That way, you guys, I know that if you've been following me at any length, right? You guys say, Fernando, you look different. And this weekend I shaved my beard off, and so it was getting long already, and it was already starting to bother me, and my wife didn't like it, and so so I went ahead and shaved it off. I did save a little bit of it, so it didn't all go away. That would probably look even weird. I told her on Sunday morning, I said, I don't think I want to go to church today, because she didn't see me. She didn't know that I had cut it off. She was making breakfast back here in the kitchen, and I'd come out, and I said, I don't think I'm going to church today. And when she heard me say that, she was like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you even saying that?" And I said, "Because I look dumb." And so she looked at me, and she was all excited, because she hated my beard. She was all happy because I did it. But like I said, it was getting already long, and it was feeling a little weird. So my dream was to at least have it all the way to the end of the year, because I was gonna cut it then, but yeah, it just got too long, and it's still too kind of hot out here in Texas, and so yeah, and I ride a motorcycle, and it's not a fun thing. So if you follow my Facebook page, you'll see my picture. I threw a picture in there of me getting off my motorcycle one day, and when I rode it to work, and my beard was just kind of like everywhere. So, so yeah. Well, guys, I'm so glad that you are here with me tonight. There's a bunch of you on Facebook that are watching me on Facebook Live on my page, my personal page, and so just want to say a shout out to you guys down there, and welcome to God's Prepared Warrior Roundtable Live on Monday night. So this is the night that we are deeming our live our Roundtable Live, and so it's stamped in stone here, and this is where we're gonna be. We've been really busy on the weekend with our business, and so it would have been a big thing to do, sell coffee all day long on a Saturday, and then to rush home and jump into a live. So my wife and I and a partner of ours, we have a coffee business, and so you can find that on Facebook, because we are prominently on Facebook, that Strong Tower Coffee Co. So if you guys want to check that Facebook page out and go over there and like that, that's pretty cool. So you can do that. 7 days to the election. I don't know if you guys saw that today about how they were burning the boxes that collect the ballots, right? For those people who send in mail-in ballots, and they go drop them in that ballot box. they started catching those things on fire. And I think there's two locations. I think that one was in Washington State. Don't quote me on it, but I heard that one was in Washington. There was another place that was happening. Does it take me by surprise? No, because people are gonna be people, and they're gonna try in any way to rig this election, and they're going to try to make sure that Kamala Harris is going to win. Right? That's what they want. That's what the left wants, and so Um, I don't know if you've noticed though. I've been looking on X, and there's a lot more video footage of Donald Trump and his security detail. His security detail right now, it looks way better than it did when he was in Pennsylvania. And so, I mean, the agents that they have for him are, I mean, they look like you don't even want to mess with them. So, so yeah. That I've noticed that, and I've seen that his security detail is been really beefed up. And I mean, we can't be surprised by that because of the two attempts on his life, right? And so they're not going to stop. They're gonna keep going. And I think I heard that even Iran had like a bounty for someone to take him out. I mean, it's that bad. And so, we just need to keep him in prayer. We need to keep him in prayer. The Lord knows. The Lord knows what's happening. The Lord knows the truth, right? Our job as God's prepared warriors is to just pray, is to continue to pray for this election, continue to lift our leaders to Him, right? No matter where you fall, right? You always want to pray for your leaders. You always want to lift them to the Lord because you want them to have God's wisdom, right? I mean, man's wisdom is not any good, and you can see it just with what's going on. So it's important for us. It's important for us to pray. Yeah, my wife didn't like my beard. You're right. She didn't like it. And so, welcome, Shelly. I'm glad you made it. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Psalmist. I still think I look weird, but yeah. So today I wanted to kind of have a conversation with you guys and see what you guys thought. I threw out on the community page this week a poll to see, what do you think is going to happen? I think my number one choice was, that there was going to be civil unrest and maybe an uprising. And then I think the second one I put was civil war, right? And then the third one was I don't know, right? And I think hands down, 100%, it was civil unrest, right? So I did that for a particular reason because I want you guys to understand that we are in a time that preparedness is like paramount in our lives, right? Just in the last couple of weeks, right? I mean, we can even go back to October 1st when they went on strike for the people who work on the boats and stuff. When they went on strike, I knew then that for me that was the October surprise, right? Because even though they kind of postponed it till January, the reason why that happened was because if they continued on that strike, it would have really hurt the Democratic Party. And so, I just knew that in October we were going to see something. Everybody was saying it's something. There was going to be an October surprise. I think Pinball coined that phrase. And so, for me, that was it on day one of October. And so when you look at all that has happened this month, right? You can even go back to Pennsylvania, right? We see this pattern of the elimination, the want to take Donald Trump out. And so, I'm looking at the time. We have 7 days till the election, right? This doesn't include all of the people that have come in who may be of military age and maybe have a military background, or maybe, they're part of this gang Tren de Aragua from Venezuela. And, there's those people. And then there's Chinese people that have come in who might be, soldiers and that kind of thing, right? We're not even talking about that, right? We're talking about is just what can happen in 7 days, right? Even if the 7 days pass, we're talking about November the 5th, when everyone goes who has not voted yet, right, goes to the poll to vote. And then there's November 6th, when we wake up and we find out, Lord willing, in a perfect world, right, when all the ballots are counted, we know who's going to be next, right? But still, we have till January the 6th, right? So I want you to put this picture in your mind that, yes, we have 7 days till the election. My prayer is that we have 7 days till the election and we all vote and nothing happens. My prayer is that from that day, from November 6th all the way to January 6th, that nothing happens and that there is a peaceful transfer of power. That is my hope. That is my dream. That is my prayer to the Lord, that he would intervene in a way where we become united, right? For crying out loud, we are the United States of America. And I'm an American citizen, you're an American citizen, and we are to be united. But when you look at the world today, we are not united. And I think there's an important call for us to go back to unity, right? I think we need to go back to understanding that when we took God out of the equation, when we took saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school out of the equation, it dumbed down patriotism. And, I'm a very patriotic person. I saw a video that really moved me today. And I saw it on TikTok. And it was an Amazon driver. I think he was an Amazon driver. He was a mailman. I can't remember. But he was delivering a package to a house, and he was coming with the package, and in front of the garage where he was walking, there was this American flag there, and it because it was windy, it kind of folded over itself, and so he saw it. He came, he put the package down, he scanned the package, he went back to the flag. And he fixed the flag and straightened it out. He took one step back and he saluted the flag. and then he touched the flag. Man, I saw that and I wanted to cry because we have lost the sense of patriotism. And if we can see that and it doesn't move within us, I think we've lost some sense of patriotism. And I try to encourage people to be patriotic, to go vote. Because we live in the United States of America, and I remember a time growing up, that patriotism was at an all-time high, and here lately I haven't seen that at all. And so 7 days, we have 7 days to the election, and there's day 6, and then there's January 6th. And so I've made it a point to every day to say a prayer for each day, right? That we are moving into this election cycle, and I'm praying so very hard that God would really, really move in everyone's heart, that there will be peace, right? I'm praying for that. I'm praying so very hard for the war that's happening over there in Israel. I mean, I'm praying that God just kind of, do something with that. I'm praying, for the folks in Ukraine and Russia. I mean, that's their thing over there. I get it, but they're still people. And I have a heart for people. And so, when I look at people, I see them with compassion, because I see the potential that people have to do good and to do things for the Lord. And God has allowed me to see people in that way. And, I always hope for the best for people, and that they would choose to do the right things. And so, we live in the United States of America, and I think that it's going to call for us who are understanding, right? Who are true patriots, or who are, however you want to say it, right? I think it's gonna call for us to really stand in the gap and be American. I don't really hear that anymore, right? American. I mean, we hear a lot of China, we hear a lot of Russia, we hear a lot of all of these things, but I don't hear America anymore in the mouths of people, right? I think we need to go back. We need to go back to that. And so today, I just kind of, I know that was a long intro, but I wanted to kind of talk about that, and kind of unpack what that looks like, right? Because we're only 7 days to the election, right? And my hope is that every American, if you are within the sound of my voice, my hope is that you are doing your duty to go out and vote. Because I'm going to be very honest today. I really want to be honest today. If you don't vote, and on November 6th, if you don't vote and you don't like the outcome of what happens, I don't think you have any right to say anything, because you didn't vote. Granted, if you voted and still, the person you voted for didn't win, right? My hope and prayer is that everything is done correctly, that there's a peaceful transfer of power. Because, well, before I say that, my hope is that we all do our civic duty and go out and vote. My hope is that you go do it early. My hope is that you don't go put it in those boxes where they're catching them on fire, and now we don't even know who put their ballot in there, right? I mean, can you imagine that? To me, I saw that and oh my gosh, it was saddened by that. Um, but we have to do our part. For us to be united, we have to do our part. You know, the Bible talks about unity in the body, right? Paul says that, you know, you know, the body has many parts, right? But each one of those parts are important for the body, right? In other words, each one of those parts has a function and it has a job, it has a duty, and the body needs all of those parts. I'll even break it down for you, right? If you go to church, right? Maybe you go to church all the time. Maybe you've been there a couple of times. Maybe you haven't been in a while, or maybe you don't go. I'm gonna break it down for you. When you go to church, you have your pastorate, right? You have the men and women who are the pastors or whatever, right? You have those that have the gifts of music and singing. So you have that team, the worship team. You have those people that have the gifts of, accounting, and so they're part of the church staff, and that's what they do. When the Bible is talking about unity and in different parts and how all these parts work together, that's what it's talking about. Now, when I bring it down to the United States level, because that's what I'm talking about tonight, right? All of us are a part of this big body called the United States of America. And all of us have a part to play, right? You work in your job because that's your part, right? You do the things you do because that's your part. And I think that it's important for us to do our part in this place where we live, right? That we engage in the things that are happening, right? Because your voice counts. I want you to know that. I hear it from people. Well, I don't vote because I don't think my voice counts. Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'll use money as an example, right? Let's say you have zero money, right? And you go and you find a job and you're working at this job and you get paid. You went from zero money to getting paid, right? Whatever that amount looks like, right? And you went from zero to something. Well, that's what your vote does. Your vote adds up, right, to what has been collected. And so, voting isn't just a powerful tool, right? Each vote is a stand for what you believe, and and what you believe for the future, right? And what you want your future to be. That's what your vote does, right? Voting, voting is how change begins, right? And you can't underestimate the power of your ballot, because you are being counted, right? So my hope is that you guys are getting out there to vote. I would encourage you guys, when you go vote, go early. Don't mail it, man. It's not that I don't trust the U.S. mail. I don't. They're burning these ballots that are being dropped in these boxes, and so I would rather you just be there in person, right? but that's going to take some work from you to be able to do that, right? You're going to have to go there. You're going to have to probably wait in line. If you live in Texas, you're going to have to be in the heat. But you are making your voice heard, right? And I will encourage you that when you're there, talk to people, right? Talk to the person in front of you. Talk to the person behind you, and don't talk about politics. Just have normal conversations, because I think people are too private today, and nobody wants to talk to anybody. And I've walked through a store one time, and nobody ever talked to me. That's why I'm the one that's always talking. And so I'm gonna tell you, if you go vote, go out there, be watchful, right? Stay vigilant to what's happening, especially if you're gonna wait till November the 5th, right? You know, you have to stay vigilant to what is happening, right? I mean, there's just so much tension with this election. I've been through many elections in my lifetime. I'm 51 years old, and I actually shaved 10 more years off from my face. So I've reverted back to 41. No, I'm 51 years old, and I've been through many elections, but not like this election, right? This is totally different. It is like the enemy is really wanting evil to run rampant. And so we have to be vigilant. We have to keep an eye on our surroundings when we go vote. We need to stay aware. You have to have situational awareness all about you nowadays when you go out. So important. And if you're able to go vote early, consider doing it to avoid the big crowds, because come November 5th, I'm going to tell you, those lines are going to be stupid long. I remember I went one year on election day, and it was at one of the universities here, and I think I walked a mile that day. And so I told my wife this year, I said, you know what, I'm going to do early voting and get it out of the way. And actually, I was there, just a couple of hours, but it's because one of the printers went down, and so we kind of had to wait till they got all that back online. So go early. It's so much better to go early, because you're going to avoid the crowds, right? And even if you're voting on November 5th, it's so important for you to be prepared, right? Bring water with you. I'm going to tell you, bring water with you. Make sure you have your ID. That's so important. Make sure you have your voter ID, and most important, just stay calm. Just be you, right? If you're afraid to talk to somebody, okay, I get it. But, talk to people, because it's time for us to be united. And I think that is just a huge, huge missing piece in everything that's about being an American, right? Being patriotic, right? So it's so important. Shelley says, we say the pledge school wide also, but everyone says it. And I'm in the elementary school. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that. I can't wait till they bring prayer back. That's going to be a game changer. That's going to be cool. So I think it's important for us to really be careful, right? Now on election day and November 6th, right? I want to talk about November 5th, because I want you to know that that's going to be the day that everybody, like I said, everybody's going to go vote. Everybody's going to go do that. I'm going to tell you this. The energy will be intense. If you think that the energy is intense now, maybe you have seen or feel, right, the tension, it's going to be even worse on November 5th. And no matter the result, whether if he wins or she wins, no matter the result, tension is gonna be high. And on November 6th, prepare for possible reactions, right? You have to prepare, especially if you live in a major city. You're gonna have to prepare for possible reactions where you live, right? We don't know what will unfold. We don't. I can't tell you that this is going to happen, that's going to happen. We can only speculate because of what we feel in the air, right? We don't know how it's going to all come out, but we have to stay vigilant. Of all the days on November 6th, we have to stay vigilant. We have to stay calm, and we have to totally rely on God's wisdom through it all, right? I want you to remember, even though we are going through this election, we need to bring God into this. And I've dedicated to pray every day up to January 6th for our leaders. I've dedicated myself to pray for both sides, right? Because even after the election, both sides still sit in one room at the Capitol when they get together, right? And I want to pray for them, right? Their job is so difficult, but I'm praying that God would take the enemy out of all of that, right? It is important that we keep our government officials, our leaders in prayer, because they need it, right? They so need it. Our world needs prayer right now. And I'm praying for Israel. I'm praying for Russia and for the other place, Ukraine. I'm praying for them because, I want them to have peace, just like the peace that I have, the freedoms that I have. I want that for everybody. I don't think we should be spending our time in war and conflict. That's my prayer. You might say, well, Fernando, do you not know that those people are, that's how they live. They live warlike. Yeah, I get it. But I serve a God that is way bigger than all of that mess. And I know that he can bring peace, and that he can bring tranquility to people. And I know he can do it because I've seen it happen in the Bible. I've read it in the Bible. And he is a God of peace, right? And so it's so important for us to totally understand that idea. We are Americans. We live in the United States of America, and we need to be united together. So there's a lot of other things that are happening that are like very worrisome, right? In the background, there's a lot of backtalk. There's a lot of propaganda that's being spread around, and I get it. People want their side to win, but I'm going to be honest with you. I want you, and I'll tell you, right? I tell you all the time, be vigilant, right? Stay vigilant, stay prepared. But I want to tell you that you need to be an ambassador of truth. What is an ambassador of truth, Fernando? An ambassador of truth is one who seeks truth, right? Right here is my TV. And I'll watch it every once in a while. I think in the last year I moved away from watching the news. Um, Not only because it's there's not really any positive stuff in the news, um, but I seek truth, right? So you will always find me scouring the internet for truth, and truth is there. You just have to find it, right? I hear a lot of other channels say, you know, the media is not telling us the truth, and that's true. They're not. They're actually have a script to read, and I don't know if you know this, but all of them have the same script because people have taken news outlets and have put them side by side. I don't know if you've seen these or not. If you haven't, let me know. I'll find you one and I'll post it. I'll post it in my videos. But all of these news stations are saying the same news. And then of course there's news that's happening in their area, but on the high level stuff, they are all saying the same thing. And when I saw that for the first time, at first I thought somebody was trying to fake me out. And I was like, no, that's not happening. No way. Yeah, it's happening. And there's a narrative that's being spun through our news outlets. And so we have to find different places to where we can find truth, right? I will tell you that we're always going to find truth in God's word. That is a 100% given that's where we're going to find total truth. But I'm telling you, if you want to know what's happening, you got to find it. For example, I always look at the FBI's website. I look at the CIA's website. I look at the Pentagon's website. I look at the president's website, right? And they throw out nuggets of truth in those news feeds on those websites that the news is not telling the American people. I found in there, I think it was military.com, where they started deploying so many of our soldiers. And then later on, it came out that they sent all of these carriers over to assist Israel. The news is out there. You have to find it. And so I would encourage you to be a seeker of truth. And I would encourage you to ask God to give you wisdom to find it and the eyes to see it, right? That's so important, to be a seeker of truth, because, it's like I tell people, because they'll say, Fernando, why are you a prepper? Isn't God going to supply all of your needs? Yes, he will. And God supplies all of my needs because he sends me to places, right? He sends me to work so that I can work, so that I can earn a living for my family. God did that. I didn't do it. The job I have, Fernando didn't get it. God gave it to Fernando. I have a vehicle. God gave me that vehicle. Fernando could never afford that, but God can, right? And so when we have an idea of who is really in charge, it's not the current administration. It's not the administration to come. It's God. And when we allow God to be the Lord of our life, the things that are happening outside, they're happening. Yeah, 100%. But God is in control of all of that. Um, I have been I have been blessed. I'm going to tell you. I have been blessed because, and I'm not inviting people to do this. Okay, I have been blessed in my small social media space, right? Um, because if you really want to follow me, I'm on Facebook. I have 2 pages on Facebook: God's Prepared Warrior, our coffee shop, Strong Tower Coffee Co. And then I have my personal Facebook, and then I'm on Instagram with all those pages, and then I'm on X and TikTok. That's where I'm at, and I have a Pinterest page, and I have like a billion pins in there. But anyway, that's where I learned. That's the matrix for me. That's where I get plugged into the matrix. Um, so anyway, God has blessed me with this little space, right? And I have been blessed to have people who have been encouraging, who have said, Fernando, that's a great idea, but have you thought about this, right? I have had people come on and say, hey, Fernando, I've been prepping for 20 years. This was a conversation I had the other day. I've been prepping for 20 years and I learned something from you. And I'm like, really? I'm like, no way. And they were like, yeah, you taught me. Your bug out bag taught me a few things. And I'm like, wow, that's God. It's not Fernando. It's God, right? So I've been blessed with that kind of encouragement, right? Here recently, I've had 2 people. One on Facebook, because I'm in several groups where I put all of my content. One person today I read said, God, question mark. God isn't doing anything in all of this that's happening. And, it didn't affect me. I liked his comment. Why? Because that's how that person thinks, right? I know the truth. The truth is found in God. I've experienced it. That person may have not experienced it yet. But I pray for him. And I had another one who said somewhere about the same thing, that all about God, and you talk too much about God is what he told me. And it has encouraged me to talk all the more about the Lord. And so, we can't allow the outside things to put fear in our heart, because when we do, we allow the enemy to win. When we are not united, we're allowing the enemy to win. When we are not together, we're allowing the enemy to win. Do you want to know how to win? God has to be at the center of it all. And this is why I've created this page, or this whole platform, because we need to prep. We need to take care of our families, because God has given us our family, right? It's up to us to work to feed them, to work to clothe them, to work to take care of them. That's something that we teach our generations all along the way. And because of that, all of those things God provides for us. He gives them to us. Then he gives us extra blessings when we think, oh man, where am I going to get this money for this bill? God shows up. Why? Because we've been trusting him. And that's why it's important for us as Americans to trust in the Lord with all of our heart, and to be united together as one, because that's how we're going to defeat all of these things that are happening. Because we stand united. Sure, if Russia or China, they come to the United States and they want to come take us out, heck yeah, we're all going to join together. But it shouldn't take that. It should be what happens before all of that. We should be united way before all of that. It shouldn't take a tragedy for us to be united. I'm glad that after 9/11, we were united. We all came together, right? We saw all of this happening. Just here recently with the Hurricane Helene and the other hurricane that hit Florida, we all came together united. But why does it take that for us to be united? I think that if we became united first, I think we would see a whole different trajectory of the American people. I think patriotism would come back. I think unity would be this thing that just glues it all together. That's why I started this channel, because I wanted to help people understand that we need to be ready. But we need to be ready with God in our hearts. That's where it needs to be. That's where it needs to start. And then all of this will follow, right? Matthew 6:33 says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven," right? "And his righteousness, and all of these things will follow." I mean, that's the answer to all of these things. That's the answer to the things happening over in Asia. That's the things happening over there in the Middle East. That's the things happening over there with Russia and Ukraine. It's because God is missing out of the picture. Fernando wants to be just this one person that reminds you that God is in control no matter what's happening. Yes, there's going to be there's tensions right now of this election. Yes, there's going to be tensions November the 5th. Yes, there's going to be even more tensions November 6th all the way to January 6th. But when we are united together, praying together for our country, for our leaders, bringing God into the equation, right? If my people would humble themselves and pray and seek my face, I will heal their land. We need healing. We need healing so bad. And only God can do that. We can't do it. We can't. Only God can do it. And so, guys, yeah, there's tension. Yeah. We need to be vigilant November 5th and 6th. Yeah, from that day on, we need to keep praying for whoever takes that office. We do. Because no telling what's going to happen. But if we take a stand, to stand in the gap, to be united, to seek God, I can see a turnaround coming. Just as I can see all the bad things that may be coming down the pipe, I can also see God doing a great miracle. And my prayer is that we see that and that we glorify God for that, and we thank Him for that thing, right? So, guys, I just wanted to encourage you today. I know it started out kind of bleak because of the video of them burning the ballots and talking about the tension that's happening, because it is happening. But I wanted to encourage you that we can stand together, united, seeking the Lord and asking God to unite us all, and that He would guide us throughout all of this thing. Even if things do pop off, and there's riots and things in the streets, it doesn't surprise God. He already knows. He's still in control. God is still in control, but He's given us hands, right? He's given us hands to work with. Work with your hands. Keep prepping. Keep seeking the Lord. Keep studying God's word. Keep praying. Keep praying for one another, right? That's what Jesus said. Right? He said, they asked him, they tried to trap him, right? What is the greatest commandment? Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your mind. And in other versions it says, with all of your strength. Why? Why is that one first and not love your neighbor as yourself? Because you can't love your neighbor with yourself. You need God's help to love your neighbor. Because let's be honest, sometimes we don't like our neighbor. I'm just going to leave it at that, right? You might say, Fernando, you don't even know my neighbor. But God wants us to love him. Why? Because when we love God with all our heart, all our soul, and all our mind, those three areas, when our heart is full of God, there's no room for self. When our soul, our soul is how much we love ourselves, right? If we love God more than we love ourselves, there's no room for self. When we love God with all of our mind, that means that God is on our mind all the time, constantly, right? There's no room for our carnal mind to think because it's full of God. When we are full of God in those three areas, there's no room for self. Then we can love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So you can't say, Fernando, I can love my neighbor. No, you can't. Not without God's help. You need to have God's help to help you love your neighbor. And He will give you the love that you lack for your neighbor. It's time for us to look at our families. And if we're estranged from our families, this is the time to seek forgiveness. This is the time to bring those things back together, because we need each other to get through this. So, guys, I'm praying for you. And I am trusting in the Lord that you are seeking Him, that you are studying His Word, you're putting it in your heart, and you're living it out. That you are a walking beacon of God's love. That before you leave out the door today, or whenever, tomorrow, it's late already, forgive me, that you pray and you ask God that, like I do, because this is what I pray, because I don't want people to look at me, because I'm just this chubby old guy without a beard. I want people to see God living in me. And so when I walk into a situation, I don't want it to be me. I want it to be God. I just want to be that vessel to be used by God to walk into that space and be obedient to what He wants me to do at that moment. That's my prayer for you, that you seek the Lord and that you ask God, how can I be your servant today? What is it that I can do for you? I think if we had that posture all the time, we would truly see God move in our life so many ways because we are obedient. I know that when we are obedient to God, we experience God. So, guys, thank you for hanging with me on our dedicated day. From now on, Monday nights is our live roundtable. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me and hanging with me. Invite some folks. Next time, bring somebody with you. Share my content. Follow all my content if that's what you want to do. do that. And so I'm so glad that you guys joined me, and I hope you guys have a good night. Have a great rest of the week. If you have not gone to my website, it's in the description. It's like the first link. Um, I post out a devotional and I post out a blog on Monday and Tuesday. I do each of those, and I only push it out to those at the beginning of the week who have gone to my website and have gone to the contact page, clicked on the link that says newsletter, filled out the information. You get that first, and it's Monday you get the devotional to set up your week. And if you haven't done that, go do that. So that way you can get all that information in your email. And if you haven't done it and you do it today, I will send it to you tomorrow because that's already gone out. And then if not, you're going to have to wait till Thursday and Friday when I push it out to social media. So get it first. That way you start your week out and stuff. So if you want to help support the channel, there is a link at the very bottom that says buy me a coffee. All of the money that you guys donate will go to my website because I want to push out content. I'm creating content for you guys. I'm creating a bug out bag PDFs that you guys can have to help create your bug out bag or your get home bag. I have 2 get home bags. This is my small one. I will have to do a video on this one. I haven't done a video on it yet. But this is my small get home bag. When I'm riding my motorcycle, this is the one I use. And then I have a bigger one that I keep with me. So I'll be doing a video on this soon. But make sure you check out the website often because I'm going to start adding some things in there so you can have it. The other thing is I posted a picture of the leather patch. That's the new God's Prepared Warrior leather patch. So my prayer is that I can get a ton of these so that you guys can have access to that patch. I've already had people ask me prior to the patch that they want a patch for their vest. A small one like that one, and then I had somebody ask me for a big one for the back of their vest, and I'm like, okay. So I'm working on those things. My son-in-law is helping me do that, and we're trying to work on getting that out so that you guys can have access to those things. So if you want to help support, that would be great, and hopefully soon we can get those things out. Once my website goes live and becomes a .com and graduates, you'll see a lot of stuff in there that I have been creating already that you guys could have and purchase in there also. I do have affiliate links in some of my videos, and if you click on those links and you buy stuff from there, nothing that you paid for that thing goes to me. Amazon pays me for putting that link in there, so it doesn't come from you. But you can look at those links in there, and I am going to be doing a few videos this week, starting tomorrow, with some of the stuff that I have in my get home bag. I did my Esbet stove last week. If you haven't seen that, go look at that Esbet stove. It's a really neat compact stove, and I'm excited. November, the week of Thanksgiving, I'm going camping. I'm thinking about doing a live. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. But when I go camping, I'm thinking about doing a live out there. I am going to have a video of me going camping and utilizing some equipment that I have. And I'm going to do that. So get ready for that. Know that that's coming. And here soon you'll see in my community page. Make sure, guys, that you when you go to my YouTube channel, that you also look at the community page because I throw stuff in there all the time. Check out that stuff in there. I always throw pictures of me being weird, and then or something that I'm doing outside. Speaking of that, I'm also I'm building a chicken coop because I don't want to pay egg prices that are happening right now. So I'm building a chicken coop. I am going to film that as much as I can, and once it's completed, I'll post it. But yeah, so that's another project that I'm working on. So yeah, it's a lot. So pray for that for me. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know it's late. I'm 2 minutes past. Guys, I'll let you go. Have a great day, and thank you for joining me. And always remember, stay vigilant, stay prepared, and remember, God is our mighty fortress. God bless you guys. Hope to see you this week in a video, and can't wait to see you guys next week. Have a